it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
A message for the ages from President Joe Biden in Milwaukee. May God protect our troops. Welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Hope everyone had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Have we figured out who the obviously fake heckler was yet? The guy who spray painted his hair and was wearing a suit. I'm not saying he was a Democrat plant, but this was not just some random guy who started heckling President Biden. We'll get to that coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. Complete breakdown of the president's speech. Did you know Milwaukee streets are much safer now? They are much safer because we fixed the street lights. Somebody tell that to the people who were caught in the crossfire of the shootout on Water Street on Friday night as the homicide suspect was finally taken down. Ernest Blackney, who we reported on last week, inexplicably let out on bail after he was convicted of sexual assault of a child. He then goes and kills his girlfriend. He burns her house down to try to commit the crime, and then to cover up the crime, and then he goes on the run. He's finally taken down by police. All of that coming up, plus a special master appointed in the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. This has got liberals' heads exploding from coast to coast. How dare a judge interfere in an issue of justice? Okay, then. Yes, this is the narrative that we're going with. This judge, who is Trump appointed, by the way, is interfering in the Justice Department's case against Donald Trump. Remember, these are the same people who believe in civil liberties. We'll get into what that dispute is all about. But first, we are still giving away trips to the iHeartRadio Music Festival. It's our flyaway contest. Still a couple of more days, right? We've only got until this Friday. So only 4 more chances to win on this program, including right now. And wouldn't you know it, the word to text in is, in fact, WIN, W-I-N. You have got until 55 past the hour. You gave me the wrong word? All right, we caught it quickly this time at least. All right, it's Festival, F-E-S-T-I-V-A-L. How'd you screw that one up? Oh, he thought it was Monday. We did actually play the contest yesterday. Don't text, don't call, text the word festival. Festival's the right word. Yeah, I was getting screwed up all day today, too. I'm actually putting down on my outline, what we use to run down the show. I put Monday, September 6th. Yeah, that's an understandable one. Festival, F-E-S-T-I-V-A-L. Text it to 200-200. You've got until 55 past the hour. If your text is picked at random, you know the drill. You win round-trip airfare for 2 to Las Vegas, 2 nights hotel stay, ground transportation, and tickets to both nights of the iHeartRadio Music Festival coming up in just a couple of weeks, September 23rd and 24th. Plus, you get a $1,000 gift card. If you enter this contest, you will get a confirmation text and information. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. It is back to school for tens of thousands of kids across the country, and Good Morning America today is very, very concerned about climate change. Also, the Biden administration and Evers administrations both rewriting history as to who is trying to keep schools reopened. Suffice it to say, it is a jam-packed show. We've got that coming up in about 10 minutes. We name the unhinged liberal of the day. We check in with Dave Spano for a word on what's going on in the markets. Should we be concerned about another September swoon, as we are in a recession that threatens to get a lot deeper and inflation does not seem to be going away? But first, ladies and gentlemen, I am incredibly proud and excited, ecstatic even, to announce the 2023 Dan O'Donnell Adventure. And this is an adventure in every sense of the phrase, because for the very first time, it is going to be a Dan O'Donnell cruise to Alaska. That's right, the most requested destination, I think, ever for any of the cruises that our good friends at Cruise and Tour have gone on is finally shipping off. June 14th through the 24th, 2023. We are going to see the towering majesty of the Alaskan wilderness, and we're going to be doing it aboard one of the most luxurious ships that has ever set sail inside the Inside Passage and has done Alaska, the Celebrity Millennium. We are going to be taking WIS and WIBA listeners on what truly promises to be an adventure that you won't ever forget. The possibilities are endless. Whale watching, the northern lights, dog sledding, gold panning, fly fishing, all of it. Salmon bakes, we're going to do every single thing. So we fly to Anchorage on June 14th, and we're going to have a day to check out the city. There's going to be an optional tour, and then we get together for an introductory dinner. We're going to meet everybody else who's on board, and then right after breakfast, we make our way by bus to Seward to board our cruise. We're edging the Kenai Peninsula, and the city is framed by the glacier-covered Kenai Mountains that run along the southeastern spine. It's a rustic port town, and the grand terrain there, I'm looking at pictures right now, will leave you breathless. We're going to stop on the way, by the way, at the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. It's a sanctuary dedicated to preserving wildlife through conservation, education, and research. Bear, elk, moose, buffalo, all easily viewable in this one-of-a-kind nature park. From there, we go to the Hubbard Glacier. It's 30 miles north of the coast of Yakutat, and it's one of Alaska's most exciting national treasures. We're going to see picture-perfect views on the way, and this is what I'm so excited about. While we're on board, while we're actually cruising to our different destinations, this isn't like a traditional cruise where we hop island to island, and you're essentially just looking at the ocean all day and seeing ocean views by sunset, which are beautiful, but this is you're going to see the Alaskan wilderness. You're going to see the glacier from just about every single angle. Then, in Juneau, we're going to take a glacial dog sled adventure in the capital city. Cultured sophistication meets the ruggedness of the last frontier. It's a launch pad for outdoor adventures, hiking, ziplining, whale watching, bear viewing by seaplane. You can do it all. And all of this, and this is the thing I love the best about our friends at Cruise and Tour and what they do, they make it easy. In fact, they make it simple. They make it so that essentially all you have to do is sign up. They take care of the rest. And I can tell you, they plan absolutely everything down to the minute. They take care of every detail. A trip like this can be very intimidating. In fact, we just got back about 2 months ago, almost to the day, from our Dan O'Donnell adventure to Ireland. And I had so many people on that trip, which was a rousing success, tell me, you know what, Dan, the best part of this is that it would have been too difficult for me to plan on our own. This is somewhere we've always wanted to go, but just the logistics and trying to get everything down, it would have been months worth of work. The beauty of Cruise and Tour and group travel is that they make it easy. They take care of every single reservation. They take care of every single adventure. They take care of every single meal, really. Everything you need in one spot. And by the way, to sign up, all you need to do is to go to cruise-tour.com or call 800-383-3131. Cruise and Tour employees are standing by, ready to answer your questions, ready to take your reservations at 800-383-3131. All right, so we've already gone through Juneau, we've gone through the Hubbard Glacier, we've embarked from Seward after a day in Anchorage, Alaska's biggest city. On day 5, we're going to go to Skagway, where the Great Klondike Gold Rush lives on. We're going to go to the National Park Museum for an in-depth look at the Klondike and the two routes out of Skagway, the Chilkoot Pass and White Pass. There's going to be a vintage train ride where we can see the mountains and the 1898 trail that fortune seekers actually traveled on foot all the way up from the United States. It's the White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad, and it actually runs the vintage locomotives through the Chilkoot Trail and offers sweeping mountain views during its climb toward Canada. The following day, we'll go to the Icy Strait Point. For thousands of years, natives have called this place home. It's located near the city of Hoonah, home to an historic cannery, and it offers the chance to view wildlife like humpback whales, orcas, seals, brown bears, eagles. You can explore monuments to the region's fishing heritage. Then we go to Ketchikan. It's known as the salmon capital of the world. And if you're up for an adventure, you can take a canoe and nature trail excursion through the rainforest or a wilderness exploration followed by a sumptuous crab feast you'll never forget. Then, to me, what's going to be one of the highlights. Thursday, June 22nd, we go through the Inside Passage. Beyond it, in fact, into the more protected area of southeast Alaska. It's a labyrinth, basically, of fjords, bays, lush green islands. There's an abundance of wildlife. Orca, mountain goats, bald eagles. During the summer months, the long, and I mean long hours of daylight, allow for tons of opportunities for nature photos inside the Inside Passage cruise. Then on Friday, we'll say goodbye to the Celebrity Millennium and hello to the city of Vancouver, Canada. This is one of the most beautiful, pristine cities in all of North America. There's a panoramic tour that we'll take, including Stanley Park, Chinatown, Gastown, a free time stop for lunch, shopping on Granville Island, and then on Saturday, we fly home. There is an optional add-on where we will have an extension where we can actually take a land tour, and you'll go for a couple of more days in which you're going to do just incredibly fun stuff. The extension is going to be spectacular. We're going to fly to Fairbanks, Alaska, and spend the day in Fairbanks, then travel by rail to Denali National Park, and then take a train to Anchorage, where we'll spend a day in Anchorage before flying home. No matter what you choose, the land extension or the Celebrity Millennium Cruise, you're going to have a trip and memories that will last a lifetime. And as always, this is open to the entire family. We want multi-generational groups of people to come do this. In fact, we had a couple on Ireland, which was just an absolute blast. My family will be there. We make sure to spend time with as many of our listeners as possible. It's I see this as a hands-on thing. To me, my job is to make sure you're having the greatest time possible. And in fact, we've already got some people from Ireland signed up to go on our Alaskan cruise. I've actually never done a Cruise and Tours cruise before, and I'm so excited to do so, especially aboard the Celebrity Millennium. The pictures on board the celebritycruises.com site don't even do it justice. This is a gorgeous ship. The staterooms, the cabins are spectacular. And you're going to have a great view of amazing panoramas of nature wherever your cabin is. So what I want you to do is call 800-383-3131. That's 800-383-3131. So call operators at Cruise and Tours and to book right now. Look, folks, I'm telling you, this is going to book very, very quickly because so many people for so long have been requesting an Alaskan cruise, and finally, we're doing it. This has been a dream of mine, to see Alaska, to see the unspoiled beauty of the last frontier of the United States of America, one of the last unspoiled frontiers in the world. Now you finally have a chance to go. I am so ecstatic to be going along with you. You can also get more information and book your reservation right now at cruise-tour.com. It is the Dan O'Donnell Cruise, the inaugural one, June 14th through the 24th, 2023. 11 days, 10 nights aboard the Celebrity Millennium. It's an Alaskan cruise adventure with our friends at Cruisin' Tour. Once again, 800-383-3131 or cruise-tour.com. The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
Spend your weekend with the crew when the Brewers host the Reds for 3 exciting games starting Friday, September 9th.
Willie has joined the party.
Don't miss the season's best giveaway on Sunday the 11th. A truly one-of-a-kind Brewers Giannis bobblehead for the first 35,000 ticketed fans, courtesy of 620 WTMJ. Plus, save 50% on tickets for the season's last 5 County Friday. Get your seats at brewers.com/promotions.
Imagine for a moment that this ad was bought autonomously. Welcome to the new open web, where Viant is combining AI and human insight to create autonomous media buying that accelerates your return on ad spend. And using Viant's DSP Adelphic, you can now measure your media offline and online to see the full impact of your media spend, so you can spend more time on podcasts. Viant, built for the new open web. Built for now. Visit ViantNow.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus.
What if I want a box spring?
Through Monday, get a free box spring with your new Beautyrest or Sealy Posturepedic mattress.
What if I don't want a box spring?
Then take the equal value off an adjustable base.
What if I don't want to spend a lot?
Our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393.
What if I forgot my first question?
Get a free box spring now through Monday at Hassleus Mattress. Find an employee-free showroom at hassleus.com.
Democrat politicians are great at character assassination, but they're awful at governing and telling the truth. Mandela Barnes can't be honest with you because he supports all the policies causing inflation, record gas prices, rising crime, and a flood of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Voting for Mandela Barnes would be like hiring an arsonist to put out a fire. Please don't. I'm Ron Johnson, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ron Johnson for Senate, Inc.
Sebastian Gorka here. I'm living a very blessed life as an intelligence analyst, a national talk show host, and author, and I have an amazing family. But like many of us, aches and pains start to interfere with living my best life, even just walking the dog. But I found Relief Factor 3 years ago, a 100% drug-free solution for aches and pains, and now I'm pain-free, and I have my life back. I take Relief Factor every day. Relief Factor can help your body fight the inflammation that causes joint and muscle pain and other aches and pains that come with everyday life. Treat yourself to feeling better, move more, live more, and just enjoy your life more with Relief Factor. Join me and more than 500,000 other Americans. Get started today with your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. Almost 70% of those who order go on to use it more. ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Feel the difference with Relief Factor.
As you send the kids back to school today, think about next summer vacation. An Alaskan cruise adventure, the Dan O'Donnell Cruise, very first one. June 14th through the 23rd, 2023, aboard the Celebrity Millennium, along with our friends at Cruisin' Tour, cruise-tour.com. Kids did go back to school today. My kids finally went back. We sent them off to the bus, dropped my son off. He's a high schooler, first day of high school, and all of that. I feel like my kids were the absolute last ones to go back. I was flooded with first day of school pictures on September 1st, which would have been, what, last Thursday? Yeah, last Thursday. Your kids, Dave, went back on Thursday. Wednesday, August 31st. Oh, man, they got screwed. That was a half day for them. Yeah, pretty much everyone went back on September 3rd. But now all kids are back in school. Governor Evers was speaking at Milwaukee Public Schools. The traditional start date was today. Remember, there are some early, what do they call it, early enrollment, Head Start, and so forth, where the kids actually go back in mid-August. Do you know what the biggest risk for kids this year is? Climate change. Not COVID, not learning loss from school shutdowns. Nope. It is climate change. Good Morning America tweet this morning, kids are returning to school across the country and climate change is turning hot classrooms into a public health issue. You see, since most schools went back last week, and they focused in particular on Philadelphia, there was a heat wave because it's late summer. And in summer, it gets hot. And I can remember even when I was a kid, there was no air conditioning. And you were sweltering for the first couple of weeks ago. This was 25, 30 years ago. So you're telling me that because it gets hot in the summer, and it has always been hot in the summer, but now it might be slightly hotter in the summer, we're in a national climate change emergency and kids can't get a decent education because there's not enough air conditioning. Seems to me that all of the schools that had billions and billions and billions of dollars that Biden was sort of apportioning out like a benevolent king in COVID relief might want to invest in some central air. Speaking of COVID relief, I admit that I missed this last week. The Biden administration's education department, after that study that was released that showed just devastating learning loss from the school closures on standardized testing, for the first time ever, students' math scores went down, and they went down in English language arts by a greater amount than ever before. I mean, it was just devastating test results. The education department put out a statement saying, in part, when President Biden took office, most schools in America remained closed. President Biden got to work. He put teachers at the front of the vaccine line and got Congress to provide aid to improve ventilation and spacing in schools. This plan produced results. A few weeks after President Biden put these measures in place, a majority of schools were open for the first time since the pandemic started. What kind of revisionist history nonsense is this? Remember back in February of 2021, the Biden administration was actually pushing the CDC to get input from the American Federation of Teachers, the nation's largest teachers union, and its president, Randi Weingarten. Remember, she's out there now saying, well, I'm not to blame. The AFT isn't to blame for all this learning loss. Yes, it absolutely was. That was the entity that was absolutely pushing nonstop for the closure of schools. You might remember also, as recently as last January, when the Omicron variant was first making its appearance, MPS and a number of large school districts didn't actually reopen on time. MPS, Milwaukee Public Schools, was set to go back on, January 3rd, January 4th? They closed until something like January 18th. They went back to virtual learning. January of 2022, not January of 2021. Remember, it was local leaders, especially in red states and red counties, that were opening schools almost in defiance of the Biden administration. Remember how much heat Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis took when he was reopening schools. We were hearing stories about how teachers' lives were going to be put at risk, and there wasn't adequate masking and plexiglass and all this other nonsense that did absolutely nothing to stop the spread of COVID, but made leftists feel better about sending kids back to school. Now we're just going to sort of pretend that it was Biden who was reopening schools. Yes, because if there was anyone who was pushing for the closures, remember it was Donald Trump, and we've actually got a number of articles to back this up. Trump was pushing in July of 2020 to get kids back to school, and there was article after article, editorial after editorial, scientist after scientist saying Trump's plan to send kids back to school this early in the pandemic is dangerous, don't let Donald Trump gamble with our children's lives. And of course, schools in blue cities and blue states remain closed. And guess which students suffered the most? Those whose schools didn't open. Coming up next, a judge appoints a special master in the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. We'll explain what that is and why it's absolutely necessary. All right, if your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of $26,000 per employee. Now, this isn't a loan. There's no payback or anything like that. It's a refund of your taxes. But the challenge, of course, is getting your hands on it. How do you cut through all the red tape and get your business the refund money you deserve? Go to getrefunds.com. You see, they're tax attorneys. They're specialists in this little-known payroll tax refund program. They do all the work with no charge up front. They simply share a percentage of the cash that they get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. The team at getrefunds.com has already returned over $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. Don't miss out. Go to getrefunds.com. No risk, high reward. Getrefunds.com. Snoring, sleep apnea, allergies. Dan O'Donnell here for Sinus and Snoring MD. We both know you're tired of sleeping on that couch. Choose the local ENT experts that'll treat you like family, unlike those big box clinics. Visit sinusandsnoringmd.com.
The Difference, a new and informative podcast series presented by Annex Wealth Management. Conversation and informed opinion with WISN's Dan O'Donnell and Dave Spano of Annex Wealth Management. The Difference, available on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you find your favorite podcast.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you want to walk and stay healthy, but cannot because you are in pain?
I just had difficulty walking. I could not walk in bare feet at all.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts from the drugstore with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet system fits in all your shoes, so come to the Good Feet Store and become pain-free today.
Call now, 414-545-3338. Visit the Good Feet Store across from Mayfair Mall on the northwest corner of Center and Mayfair Road, or in Appleton across from Fox River Mall.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit our website at goodfeetmilwaukee.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
Violent crime is on the rise across Wisconsin. Homicides up 70% from just 3 years ago. But if you think crime is bad now, Mandela Barnes will make things much worse if he gets to the Senate. Barnes supports eliminating cash bail even after the Waukesha Christmas parade attack. That lets dangerous criminals go free. But Mandela Barnes won't stop there. He supports amnesty and sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants and had worked for a radical group that supports defunding the police. And while Barnes insinuates the police officers are racist and white supremacists, he spent hundreds of thousands of your tax dollars on security for himself. Mandela Barnes, wrong on crime, dangerous for Wisconsin. Reject Mandela Barnes for U.S. Senate. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
All right, Seth, you ready to record this radio ad? Sure. All right, cue it up, Laura. In a world with runaway inflation. What? One company saves you big money. Wait, hold on. Super cool, right? We want people to know they can trade in their AC and save thousands of dollars on a new one, right? Yeah, Capital's helping you lock in prices now as inflation keeps soaring. Because your money tomorrow will be worth less than it is today. Even future inventory is uncertain. So let's just tell them straight out how much we'll save them. Up to almost $3,000 in rebates and incentives. And we're giving you $400 capital cash. If you buy a full system, AC and furnace, we'll also give you a $500 gas card to help you out even more. What's more dramatic than that? True. Lock it in. Yeah, lock it in. Simple. Lock it in. Okay, I'm just going to take them out. Call Capital Heating and Cooling today to lock in your savings or visit callcapitalcares.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Now is the time to diversify your investments with gold and silver to protect your retirement. Hi, it's Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Bishop Gold Group sells physical gold and silver delivered to your door or put directly in your IRA. Call Bishop Gold Group and tell them Lisa Booth sent you to receive a silver gift on your first order. Dial pound 250 from your mobile phone and mention keyword Bishop Gold or go to bishopgoldgroup.com. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from Bishop Gold Group.
What you don't know about your home can cost you. Access to in-depth data is gold when buying or selling your home. With Ownly.com, you get the information the pros use. Real estate investors and agents would rather keep this to themselves. Unlike other real estate websites, Ownly.com delivers much more detailed information about a property. Knowledge is power. Need a home valuation? Get up to 3 with Ownly.com. Go for the gold. Visit Ownly.com. That's Ownlerly.com. Ownly.com.
Paid for by Ownly.
Conservative thought, not just talk. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Labor Day ruling from a federal judge. Did you know she was appointed by Trump? Did you know she was a Trump-appointed federal judge who approved Trump's request for a special master? Because all I heard all day yesterday was Trump-appointed judge interferes in this case. Now, yes, Trump took a rather unusual step of instead of going to the magistrate judge, Bruce Reinhardt, and asking for a special appointment to be, or a special master to be appointed, he went to Eileen Cannon, who was appointed by Donald Trump in 2020. This is correct. He filed a civil suit against the government, essentially accusing it of stepping on his rights. And what the most unique thing to me about this is that there was a significant delay both by Trump in requesting a special master and the judge in ruling for it. Because in court, she apparently was saying, yes, we agree there's probably a need for a special master. And then she waited about a week and a half, 2 weeks before she issued her decision granting a special master. Now, for those who are unaware what a special master is, in simple terms, it's essentially someone who's appointed a non-biased, a neutral party to handle potentially sensitive information that's collected. What Trump was arguing is that because of the potential for damaging information to be leaked from this investigation, there needs to be somebody who is going to be able to handle this material in the sensitive way it needs to be handled. The government is saying, hey, wait a second. We're the Justice Department. We're the FBI. Nobody is going to handle classified material or other such material better than us. Anybody who just heard me say that is probably snickering a little bit or rolling their eyes, given the FBI's past history of clear and coordinated attempts to take down the Trump candidacy, Trump administration, and now post-Trump post-presidency private citizen Trump as well, through investigations that they knew to be baseless and leaks from those investigations designed to harm Trump politically and personally. What Trump is claiming with a lot of these documents is executive privilege. And those who were around during the Nixon administration, I'm assuming, understand the concept of executive privilege very acutely. This was the idea that presidents need to have some modicum of privacy over communications that they have to preserve the function of the government. If everything a president wrote or everything a president said or everything essentially a president did that is documented is fit for public consumption, then the government couldn't possibly function. And in truth, at heart, is this dispute over classified information. What Trump is claiming is that a good portion of the materials seized from Mar-a-Lago don't just fall under attorney-client privilege, don't just fall under executive privilege, but such private things as medical records were taken, correspondence to his kids. My goodness, we found out a couple of days ago they even raided Barron Trump's room. What does it say about the government under Joe Biden that Hunter Biden is never raided, but Barron Trump, who's like 16 years old, has his room raided? So what Trump is saying is that because of the high-profile nature of this raid, because of the fact that this is not only politically damaging, this is historic. I mean, people, I don't think, have a full grasp of just how dangerous a game the Justice Department is playing by, instead of, as with all past presidents, when there was a dispute over what records a president took after he left office, there's, maybe a subpoena issued by NARA, by the National Archives, and the former president's people go back and forth. Okay, we want this, we need this needs to come back. In May, apparently the Biden White House requested that there be a search warrant issued. Now, Biden, of course, has been saying, no, I had no idea about the raid until I heard it on the news. He's taking a page from Barack Obama, of course, who never knew about any scandal that his administration was involved in until he heard it on the news. But Trump is absolutely correct in that a neutral party needs to preserve this evidence. Here's where things get a little weird, though. The point of a special master is so that evidence doesn't get used in the course of an investigation that isn't properly seized. In other words, it's known in the law as fruit of the poisoned tree. Think of it like if the tree itself is poisoned and all of the apples on the tree is the evidence, all of the evidence that's seized. If that was seized improperly, or if there's anything, say a medical record that's used, something that shouldn't be used in the course of an investigation, all of the apples that investigators pick from that tree, all of the threads of the investigation that come out of that poisoned evidence, that badly collected or badly handled evidence, is poison. The fruit of the poisoned tree, therefore, can't be used in the course of an investigation. But because Trump waited so long to request a special master, and because the judge waited so long to approve a special master, what is today? Tuesday, September 6th? People are laughing at me online. On our YouTube channel, Dan O'Donnell Show on YouTube, by the way, I have Monday, September 6th. So we were joking about we gave the wrong word at the top of the show because you thought it was Monday. I apparently thought it was Monday by putting the title Monday on my show. It is, in fact, Tuesday. So she waited almost exactly a full month. Thursday will be 1 full month since the raid on Mar-a-Lago. You see how much time has passed. So now the Justice Department has filtering teams who are going through all of these tens of thousands of documents. I believe it was 11,000 government records or whatever the media has been crowing about. The media has been in hysterics about. All of these records are being poured over by investigators. Now that's stopped. The investigation into Trump is essentially on hold until a special master can be appointed. Now, it should be noted that if the government hasn't already appealed this ruling to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, it will either today or tomorrow. It is almost certain that the government is going to appeal this decision, saying there's no need for a special master. It doesn't apply. Executive privilege doesn't apply. The question of whether So the operative question here is whether a president retains executive privilege after he leaves office. In other words, can he say, as a former president, all right, what I said on this day of my presidency is executive privilege? Can executive privilege be undone by the president's successor? Now, this is still an open question. The courts have seemingly ruled that no, you don't get to continue to claim executive privilege, but this was sort of fly in the face. We've never had the question answered absolutely definitively. Can a president claim executive privilege after he leaves office for things that happened during his presidency, documents that were made, calls that were placed, that sort of thing, transcripts of phone calls? Can he claim executive privilege? And can that claim, more importantly, be overruled by his successor? Think about it this way. Barack Obama leaves office January 20th, 2017. Do you know what one of the last things the inner circle of Barack Obama confidants, including President Joe Biden, were discussing? The FBI's investigation into Trump collusion with Russia. And remember, at the very last moments of the Obama administration, 2 full weeks after that meeting in the Oval Office, Susan Rice, who I believe at the time was National Security Advisor, wrote up a memo memorializing that meeting. Literally, it was within 20 minutes of the Obama administration ending and Trump formally being inaugurated. And what she was doing was saying, well, Barack told us to do this investigation by the book, and everything was going to be done by the book. Let's say the second that Trump was inaugurated, he knows about this meeting and he says, okay, we are going to release to the public everything from this meeting, everything that was discussed. We're going to subpoena people from the meeting because I know the Trump-Russia investigation is going to be a total hoax. I want to prove that it was conducted and directed by Obama, and they were saying, let's get Trump. Let's take out his administration. Remember, there was an article, I believe it was in the Washington Post, January 20th, 2017. The work to impeach Trump begins on the day he was inaugurated. So clearly there was a push to get him out. And if Trump is trying to say, all right, well, we want to prove that this push was essentially started and furthered by the former president, Obama says, no, I am going to declare executive privilege. I'm going to say this was privileged communication that obviously can't be released because it's an ongoing federal investigation into Trump. Let's say Trump overrules that. Do you think that there would be the same level of media concern about a special master being appointed in that case? A judge interfering in that case if it was protection of the workings of the Obama administration? What Trump is saying is that the FBI, based on its past treatment of him, cannot be trusted not to leak this information to the media and not to use information collected improperly, whether it was covered by executive privilege or attorney-client privilege or it was personal information, that the FBI can't be used to use any of this information fairly or impartially. Therefore, someone who is fair and impartial needs to step up. I agree with the decision. I just think it should have been made weeks ago because that information has already been filtered and may end up still in the investigation. The Dan O'Donnell Cruise is going to Alaska. Join me next summer as we discover Anchorage, Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, and Vancouver. Plus, scenic cruising in Hubbard Glacier and the Inside Passage will leave you smiling ear to ear. Couples, families, singles, you're all welcome. We're going to have a blast on the Celebrity Millennium, where there's literally something for everyone. Find out more at cruise-tour.com. That's cruise-tour.com.
Do you ever ask yourself, what's my purpose? Why am I just going through these motions? And when I die, what then?
Franklin Graham.
If you're searching for something more in life, the answer is God. You see, God gave His Son, Jesus Christ, to die on a cross for our sins and pay the penalty for our sins. Then God raised Jesus to life on the third day. And if you'll trust your life to Jesus, He'll forgive your sins and give meaning to your life now and eternal life after you die. You can pray with me right now. Just say this prayer. God, I'm a sinner. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I believe that Jesus is your Son. I want to trust Him as my Savior. I'm willing to follow Him as my Lord for the rest of my life. Amen.
Someone's ready to talk with you right now about beginning a relationship with Jesus. Call the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association prayer line. The number is 855-255-PRAY. That's 855-255-PRAY.
Brandon from Homefield here. Remember playing wiffle ball as a kid where you hit the hollow plastic ball with the hollow plastic bat? The ball and bat would always crack after a few whacks, but that's what you get with cheap hollow plastic. It's also what you get with most vinyl windows. Many vinyl windows have hollow plastic frames. They're wiffle ball windows. There's nothing inside them, so they warp, bend, and break down in Wisconsin weather. At Homefield, we don't do wiffle ball windows. We install solid composite windows. They're made of an advanced polymeric composite, and they're solid all the way through. They stay straight, rigid, and ultra efficient forever. No warping, no bending, no breaking down. Skip wiffle ball windows. Choose composite windows from Homefield. Call 262-404-4444 or visit homesealed.com. Right now, you can finance for as low as $14.44 a month. That's 262-404-4444 or homesealed.com.
Listen carefully as Mandela Barnes runs away from a reporter asking about Barnes's unpaid taxes.
They want to talk about property taxes.
Here's the TV report.
Mandela Barnes not happy with questions from Fox 6. He stormed out of an interview after being asked about his unpaid property taxes.
Now a second reporter.
According to city records, the lieutenant governor hasn't paid the 2018 property taxes on his Milwaukee condo.
And the Associated Press reported that Barnes also paid no income tax. Now the kicker. Barnes has come out in support of a tax increase on working families and the hiring of 87,000 IRS agents, who the Wall Street Journal reported will be auditing middle-class families. You need that headache? Mandela Barnes. Higher taxes and IRS audits for you, unpaid taxes for him. Paid for by Wisconsin Truth PAC and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. WisconsinTruthPAC.com. Wisconsin Truth PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Tommy Mello here, owner at A1 Garage Door. We can fix your garage door fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. We test our springs, rollers, and openers by running them up and down, open and close, all day, 24/7. So you can feel confident with every A1 Garage Door repair. And remember, the garage door is the smile of your home. So call A1 Garage for all your garage door needs and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
During this interruption, let's talk about disruption, emerging new channels, cookieless media. Marketers, are you missing out on one of the most engaged audiences in today's new open web? With Viant's programmatic software Adelphic, stay in tune with digital audio, stream the future on CTV, and level up with in-game, so you can see an average 3 times return on ad spend, maybe even on this very program next time. Viant, built for the new open web. Built for now. Visit ViantNow.com to learn more.
Now is the time to diversify your investments with gold and silver to protect your retirement. Hi, it's Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Bishop Gold Group sells physical gold and silver delivered to your door or put directly in your IRA. Call Bishop Gold Group and tell them Lisa Booth sent you to receive a silver gift on your first order. Dial pound 250 from your mobile phone and mention keyword Bishop Gold or go to bishopgoldgroup.com. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from Bishop Gold Group.
After the 10 o'clock news, we're going to have some fun with President Biden's speech in Milwaukee for Labor Fest. First time Labor Fest returns to the Summerfest grounds since 2019. President Biden was there along with Governor Evers. Mandela Barnes didn't show up. Oh, wait. Yes, he did. There he is right there. Before we get into that, the unhinged liberal of the day.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is in over.
Your unhinged liberal of the day today, Sirius XM radio host and MSNBC pundit Dean Obeidallah, who accidentally revealed precisely what Democrats' strategy is for the midterms, and as unsettling as it is, they really do want to declare you, if you support Donald Trump, an enemy of the state.
MAGA is how democracy died. And I'll just say the last thing. I'm glad President Biden tried to sort of walk that gap between here are good Republicans and there's still some, and then here's MAGA. So it's no longer Republicans versus Democrats. It's Americans versus MAGA. And that's the fight and the framing I'd like to see going forward.
That's the framing that I think most Democrats want to see, and we'll explain exactly why this is. Little spoiler. It's nothing more than cynical election strategy, and I'll explain exactly how that strategy has played out over the summer, and now that we're in the final sprint to the midterm elections, how those attacks are going to be ramped up and what the real reason for them is. All coming up next. For now, though, Dean Obeidallah is your unhinged liberal of the day. Well, we've been screwed up all day thinking today is Monday, and normally we do talk to Dave Spano at this time on Monday, the president and CEO of Annex Wealth Management, on a Tuesday this morning. Dave, welcome to the show. And now that we are past Labor Day Monday, what can we expect from markets and the broader economy as we close out this year?
Yeah, that's really a great question. So not only is it post-Labor Day, as you just pointed out, there is this run-up until the election, and historically that's provided some volatility as both sides of the aisle think they're going to make advances politically, and so that does cause some volatility, and that's what we're looking for, is there going to be some opportunities over the next 60 days to reallocate your portfolio, and not only here in the United States. Obviously, we see that there's a new prime minister in the UK, and of course concerns about inflation over there. We're seeing a lot of capital come from overseas back into the United States, Dan. And lastly, of course, the Fed is trying to play catch up, and that meeting September 20 and 21st is going to be a big deal. Will it be 50 basis points, 75, or 100 basis points? And how will the market react to all of that information is really important. Lastly, there's big news, Dan, from a lot of the companies that we follow. You saw what happened with Bed Bath & Beyond and their CFO exiting the window in Manhattan, and the Apple launch is coming up as well. So just a lot of stuff that we want to look at. And of course, as you're going to frame out going forward, what does that mean for elections and portfolios? They're tied together. Folks, this is an opportunity to go in and say, how can I improve my portfolio? What are the opportunity sets? You can get that by going through your portfolio and talking to a fee-only fiduciary.
And you can do so by getting a free portfolio review called A Wealth Metric at annexwealth.com. Again, that's annexwealth.com. Dave Spano joins me each and every Usually it's Monday. Today is, in fact, a Tuesday. Dave, thanks so much. Coming up right after the show, Dave and I are actually going to record our weekly podcast. We sort of expound a little bit more on the things that we talk about on this segment. We talk about the intersection of politics and finances, and at that intersection is your bottom line. It's a podcast we call The Difference with Dan O'Donnell and Dave Spano. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, but we want you to subscribe on iHeartRadio because it is, of course, the worldwide leader in podcasts with over 250,000 podcasts. How do I know that? Because we advertise for every single one of those 250,000 podcasts on this show. Coming up, President Biden is in Milwaukee for Labor Day. We've got a complete breakdown of his insane speech next.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Back to school today. Good morning. I'm Terry Bell on News Talk 1130 WISN. It's the first day of school for Milwaukee public school students on the traditional calendar. This includes most elementary school students. Masks are optional since the school board voted to switch to the CDC's COVID-19 community levels metric system in July. High school and middle school students have been back in school since August 15th. President Biden, speaking in Milwaukee yesterday, continued to take aim at Republicans.
During a speech at Labor Fest in Milwaukee, the president says this November, democracy could be on the ballot.
Extreme MAGA Republicans don't just threaten our personal rights and our economic security, they embrace political violence.
The president also hitting on the importance of unions and touting the passage of the infrastructure bill and CHIPS Act. The president speaking in a state that has a key governor's race as well as a Senate race that could be vital in determining which party controls the chamber this next year. Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Republicans, meanwhile, are calling the president's rhetoric in Milwaukee divisive.
And I've talked to folks in our district and around the country. They are frightened by what they see their government doing to them, the citizen.
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan on Fox News Channel. Outgoing British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is saying farewell. Johnson spoke outside 10 Downing Street this morning, a day after Liz Truss was chosen to take his place. Johnson lauded the accomplishments of his government, including Brexit and low unemployment. Checking the Drake and Associates Sports scoreboard, the Brewers are 2 games off the wild card pace going into tonight's game at Colorado. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Terry Bell.
The news is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Now is a great time to take advantage of Pella's wide range of beautiful wood designs that can be painted, stained, or unfinished to complement any decor. So maybe you have a room with white walls. Pella's expert installers will match it with the wood around the windows in that room, stain others to match the wood tones in another area of the house, and all with the superior craftsmanship that leaves no hassle or mess. Just perfect results that stand the test of time, and they have the best wood warranty in the industry to prove it. I mentioned it's a great time to take advantage because Pella is currently offering this incredible special. Put no money down, make no payments, and be charged 0 interest for up to 24 months. You can't beat that, so get started today at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit them at their beautiful showroom in Brookfield and online at PellaWI.com.
The 2022 Southeast Wisconsin Heart and Stroke Walk 5K Run takes place at the lakefront on Saturday, September 24th. Frederick Hospital President Eric Conley is chairman of this fundraiser, which benefits the American Heart Association and the work it does combating heart disease and stroke. You can get involved. It's really easy. Register solo, or you can register a team at newstalk1130.com. It's the 2022 Southeast Wisconsin Heart and Stroke Walk 5K Run, September 24th, Veterans Park.
Here's the Bryant Heating and Cooling forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A few showers this morning along with some patchy fog should clear up by the midday and into the afternoon. Highs likely in the upper 70s, should be a little cooler lakeside with that northeast breeze. We stay clear tonight and get back to sunshine and 80s for Wednesday. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. Wendy's Biggie Bag is still just $5. Get a double stack junior bacon cheeseburger or crispy chicken BLT plus 4-piece nugs, small fries, and a small drink. Grab your bag at Wendy's today. Includes choice of double stack JBC or crispy
chicken BLT with 4-piece nugs, small drink, and fries. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Jay Weber here. In today's fast-paced world, getting to the bottom of a problem cannot happen fast enough, especially when it involves your physical health. There's no time for pain or weakness. This is where Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin's Ortho ASAP clinics come to the rescue. If you're experiencing any sort of bone, joint, or muscle problem, walk right in and be seen by an orthopedic specialist trained specifically to treat these conditions. Their website is orthowisconsin.com. The Ortho ASAP clinics are located at both the Pewaukee and Brookfield Square locations and are a lower cost, higher quality alternative to the traditional emergency room or urgent care. You'll be sure to be seen by an experienced orthopedic specialist who's surrounded by a staff that is trained to provide you with the best possible care. Also, their Ortho ASAP clinics are housed where they have on-site x-ray, physical therapy, and MRI capabilities to help with your care, all right there. You can learn more at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Spend your weekend with the Brewers starting Friday, September 9th. A 3-game series featuring the season's biggest giveaway on Sunday the 11th. A one-of-a-kind Brewers Giannis bobblehead. Get your seats at brewers.com/promotions.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. For many of us, there's always that one thing we're saving for. And if you're a homeowner, now's the time to use that equity. Set up a hassle-free home equity loan or line of credit with Great Midwest Bank to cover renovations, education costs, debt consolidation, or just as an emergency fund. You'll experience a state of tranquility when you discover how easy it is to help pay for your one thing. Find us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Snoring, sleep apnea, allergies? Dan O'Donnell here for Sinus and Snoring MD. We both know you're tired of sleeping on that couch. Choose the local ENT experts that'll treat you like family, unlike those big box clinics. Visit sinusandsnoringmd.com.
Hi, this is Lisa Booth. With so much instability and inflation in the world, I recommend protecting your retirement by diversifying with gold and silver. I recommend Bishop Gold Group. Bishop Gold Group sells physical gold and silver delivered to your door or put directly in your IRA. Call now and tell them Lisa Booth sent you. Dial pound 250 on your mobile phone and mention keyword Bishop Gold or visit bishopgoldgroup.com. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from Bishop Gold Group.
When you're in the market for windows or doors, call Callan, your fiberglass window expert, featuring Marvin Infinity Fiberglass Replacement Windows. Visit callcallan.com or call 414-529-5509.
We put the wow in home remodeling.
News Talk 1130 WISN.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
If you missed the first hour, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, we unveiled the 2023 Dan O'Donnell Cruise to Alaska. June 14th through the 25th. It is going to be an absolutely gorgeous experience. It is going to be fantastic. Excuse me, June 24th, not the 25th. It is going to be 10 nights, 11 days on board the Celebrity Millennium. We are going to do it all, see it all, the Inside Passage, glaciers, beautiful Vancouver, Anchorage, Juneau. Hopefully the Northern Lights. There's no guarantee that you see the Northern Lights, but that is the time that they are in the sky, and hopefully we're going to see them. That's the thing that I'm most looking forward to, just the possibility that we'll be able to see the Northern Lights. The details are available right now at cruise-tour.com, and they've got employees standing by to talk you through all of the details about it. 800-383-3131 to call Cruise and Tour and to make sure that you book your spot, because I'm telling you folks, the destination that Cruise and Tour gets all the time, they have gotten through the years and have never done with our listeners, is Alaska. Until now, June 2023, the Dan O'Donnell Cruise to Alaska, cruise-tour.com, or you can call 800-383-3131. The beautiful thing about cruises is that everyone can do it differently. There are daytime excursions, dog sledding that are optional. You can do fishing excursions and things like that. So whatever it is that you're interested in, you can do. The cruise line provides a whole lot of them, or you can just sort of explore on your own. Cruise and tour representatives will be there to help you plan each day. It's really up to you. There's really something for everyone. Also, there is a ton included in your stay, a premium beverage package, and this is huge. All drinks are included in this premium beverage package. Prepaid gratuities for the crew on board, $150 per person shore excursion credit, unlimited Wi-Fi. These things add up, and on the Celebrity Millennium, they are all included. On the Dan O'Donnell Cruise, they're all included. Again, cruise-tour.com. I'm just so excited about this. So excited for next summer, actually. I always get a little, do you find this, Dave, that you get a little down, nervous, sort of apprehension about the kids' upcoming school year? Do you really? You get that too? Yeah, it is. It is. You don't see the kids, and your kids are a bit younger. My oldest, I didn't see for much of the summer because he's out biking with his friends or whatever, soccer practice and so forth. But I always find I'm a little apprehensive. Not apprehensive. It's like a seasonal thing. What do they call it? Seasonal affective disorder or seasonal affect disorder, something like that. It's not that bad, but it's, what it is? It's back to school time, and then it's right after Christmas. And I know most people feel really bummed out right after Christmas because southeast Wisconsin, all of Wisconsin, you are looking at not 3 months of winter, but realistically, our springs have sort of melded into winter. Yeah, exactly. It's like we have 4 or 5 months of winter, and then all of a sudden, the light switch goes on, and we've got 85-degree days at some point in the middle of June. All right, Labor Day. Oh, by the way, I don't believe I ever gave out the phone lines, 414-799-1130. That's our AccuNet Mortgage talk and text line. You can also reach us toll-free via talk, via text, 1-800-838-9476. Email me anytime, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on Twitter, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. Labor Day wraps up summer in Wisconsin, and President Biden made a visit to Laborfest in Milwaukee.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by the you know the thing.
I know what you want.
We choose truth over facts.
And I know what you need.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
But I'm all screwing up, yeah, 'cause I'm an idiot.
And he is the suddenly popular again, Joe Biden. At least popular in Democrat circles. The dirty little secret about this narrative that Biden is back and Democrats' fortunes have turned completely around ahead of the midterms is that Biden's approval rating, especially amongst independents, has not moved at all. Not after the Inflation Reduction Act, not after the student loan wealth transfer, not after the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. His approval ratings are exactly where they were when Democrats were projected to just get slaughtered in the midterms. So what's changed? Really nothing but the media narrative. Now, we were speculating on this program that Governor Evers and Mandela Barnes would be a good gauge to see if Democrats are really fully back embracing Joe Biden. The answer is kind of they are. We were wondering if they would actually show up in Laborfest or if Evers would coincidentally be, campaigning in Superior or something like that. Nope. He was there, and President Biden made a point to shout out Governor Evers.
Eduardo, thank you for that introduction. It's great to be with Governor Evers. Representative Glenn Moore. Where's Glenn?
Yikes. Now, at least Governor Evers was in the front row. Man, Deadbeat Barnes, who's running for Senate, of course, was so nondescript at this appearance that Biden didn't even know he was there.
No, and the same goes for Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who couldn't be here, but he's going to be your next United States Senator. Oh, he is.
Oh, he is here. Oh, there he is. He's in the back. He's waving. He doesn't want to be seen at all with me. So, of course, and I'm thinking it's because people like me were drawing attention to the fact that Evers and Barnes weren't likely to show up with, what do you mean? No, don't correct me. It's Evers. The president says it's Evers. Governor Evers and man deadbeat Barnes, I was saying they're not going to show up because, you know, it is so bad that they don't want anything to do with Biden. So they showed up. I don't know. Did you see any pictures of Evers and Biden together? Certainly not of Barnes and Biden. Now, President Biden, of course, used this speech to again talk about a grave, serious threat to America.
Look, folks, I believe we're at an inflection point in American history. I really mean that. It comes around every 5 or 6 generations, inflection where one of those moments where everything's changing. Everything's changing.
Man, once every 5 or 6 generations. Could he be talking about inflation? Could he be referring to the fact that Americans' wallets are stretched more than at any point in the past 40 years? Could he be talking about the fact that the American family budget faces unprecedented challenges? Nah. He's talking about, you guessed it, MAGA Republicans.
The extreme MAGA Republicans in Congress have chosen to go backwards, full of anger, violence, hate, and division.
He's still going on about this. And in fact, yesterday, he coined a new phrase, a new word for the MAGA Republicans. He's calling them Trumpies.
But here's the point. The biggest contrast from the Trumpies.
The Trumpies.
They want to go to Congress. These MAGA Republicans in Congress are coming for your Social Security as well.
Now this is a tell. These MAGA Republicans, they're coming for your Social Security. How long have Democrats in election years been accusing Republicans of coming for your Medicare, coming for your Social Security? I'm old enough to remember when Paul Ryan was going to push Granny off of a cliff. Remember that one? These MAGA Republicans are a threat to everything we hold dear. This is a unique threat that we have not faced in 5 or 6 decades. 50, 60 years ago, what was the grave threat to America? No, he's not talking about the Soviets. I think he's talking about, what do you think, Goldwater? He's probably referring to Goldwater, the John Birch Society. This is the gravest threat to America. Folks, this is nothing more than a desperate election year bid, a last-second pitch to get his deflated, demoralized base to turn up at the ballot box. There is nothing that would suggest that Democrats' fortunes have turned around, despite the media narrative. What we have is a summertime polling bias that always seems to reflect more Democrat enthusiasm or more enthusiasm for the party that has the White House than actually who shows up in November. In fact, even in this New York special congressional race, the electorate is going to look nothing, and I mean nothing, like the electorate that shows up in November. Biden is clearly desperately worried that his base is not going to vote. Why else would they make this into an existential threat to America? This isn't a pitch to moderates or independents. This is a pitch to his base. Who do you think is most swayed by this idea that if you're voting, if you are casting a ballot for some random congressman in Idaho, you're striking back at the evil fascist empire of Donald Trump? This is a direct pitch to liberals. And here's how this strategy has played out. Democrats actually spent all summer through the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, funding quote-unquote MAGA Republicans in one race in Michigan, in which an upstart conservative challenged a more moderate-leaning conservative who actually voted to impeach Donald Trump. The DCCC spent more on TV ads supporting this MAGA Republican than the Republican spent on his own campaign. Why did they do this? For this exact moment, to get as many of those MAGA folks in there as possible, and then to rail against the idea that everyone that Donald Trump endorsed is somehow going to implement his MAGA agenda and turn America into a fascist state. I don't think, ladies and gentlemen, that Team Biden fully anticipated the blowback from his speech on Thursday. The red lighting, the pounding, the fists, I hate to use this comparison, but rather Hitler-esque vibe of the whole thing, in which he's talking about who is responsible for all of your problems and which of your fellow countrymen are really the enemy of the state. Did you notice he had to backtrack almost immediately? He said, Republicans, MAGA, the Trumpies, their threats to... The next day, Peter Doocy asks him during a bill signing, hey, you sort of called like 70 million people who voted Donald Trump in 2020 enemies of the state. You want to revise that? He said, I didn't mean all Republicans. There are good Republicans. Who do you think he means by a good Republican? In the United States Senate, if there was a definition of a good Republican, who would it be? Got to be Mitt Romney, right? Very anti-Trump, very moderate, very middle of the road. Do you remember what Joe Biden said about Romney and his running mate Paul Ryan, another anti-Trump Republican, in front of a predominantly black audience? He said they want to unchain Wall Street. He said they're going to put you back in chains. That's the moderate Republican. Never forget that. That's the guy that is the non-enemy of the state. The guy who Biden said a decade ago wants to re-enslave black Americans. It's the exact same sort of ridiculous hyperbole that they're engaged in now, and it's all designed to motivate a base that simply isn't fired up. They're pretending that this idea that abortion is mobilizing tens of thousands and millions of voters, and oh my goodness, they're going to be voting to protect their right to choose. It's not. And that's why they need to have this existential threat to America that they've invented for people to vote against. Otherwise, they're terrified that they won't vote, and this will be the Republican wipeout that we all think it is.
Anytime on the AccuNet Mortgage Talk and Text line at 414-799-1130. The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for the Lynch family of dealerships. Lynch is looking to buy your used car now. Lynch will buy you out of your lease and will pay up to $2,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. Before you make your next car payment, before you make your next lease payment, stop by any of the Lynch family of dealerships in Kenosha, Burlington, Mukwonago, and West Bend, or go to shoplynch.com and click on the Sell Trade tab for an instant cash offer on your vehicle. All makes, all models, and remember, if you're over on your mileage, if you're afraid of excessive wear and tear, they'll purchase your leased vehicles and pay up to $2,500 more than Kelley Blue Book value. Even if you're not in the market to buy a car, Lynch is in the market to buy your car. Visit shoplynch.com.
The top three things I hear most about us is respectful, professional, and value. Hi, Karen here from D&M Heating. For over 40 years, our customers keep saying these same things to their friends, to their neighbors, and their now grown children. Carrier and D&M Heating make a great team. #1 products with the #1 dealer. Call us today about maintenance plans, humidifiers, and much more at 414-281-5350.
D&M at your service.
Or visit us at dmheating.com.
Let's face it, food shortages are a real threat now. Supply chain breakdowns, inflation, fuel prices, global conflicts, fertilizer cutbacks, farmers being encouraged not to plant. The stage is set for the peanut butter to hit the fan. But for some reason, Americans are still in denial about food shortages. Listen, we don't take risks with other things in our lives, so why take risks with your food security? Those who know what's coming are using today to prepare. Millions of Americans have purchased ready-hour emergency food from My Patriot Supply, the brand people look for when they're ready for real preparedness. MyPatriotSupply.com is America's largest preparedness company. Get stocked up on emergency food that lasts up to 25 years in storage to get you through tough times ahead. Your other choice is to stand in government food lines, hoping for a handout. As we both know, that's not an option. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus.
What if I want a box spring?
Through Monday, get a free box spring with your new Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic mattress.
What if I don't want a box spring?
Then take the equal value off an adjustable base.
What if I don't want to spend a lot?
Our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393.
What if I forgot my first question?
Get a free box spring now through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Find an employee-free showroom at Hasselus.com.
Here's why money Warshevsky.
Piercing intellect. Stay informed with Mark Levin. Weeknights 9 to midnight on WISN.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth. One of the moments from President Biden's speech at Labor Fest in Milwaukee yesterday was the moment he got heckled by a guy who is pretty obviously in costume, right? And I think everyone who's commented on this thus far has missed the point. The guy was dressed as Joe Biden, wasn't he? I swear, he had gray hair, gray spray-painted hair. He was wearing a suit, and he had an American flag lapel pin. I'm convinced this guy was dressed as Joe Biden when he stood up to heckle Joe Biden.
By the way, all right, God love you. Let him go. Let him go. No, don't let him go. Look, everybody's entitled to be an idiot. No, everybody's entitled. Okay? Look.
All right, so the guy gets immediately escorted out. I'm thinking this was a setup. I'm not saying the Biden people, I'm not saying the unions who are putting on Labor Fest. I'm telling you, this guy didn't just show up and react with spontaneous passion to something that President Biden said. You don't go there in costume without planning to make a scene. And what this did was allow Biden to get back to his central theme of the speech. Sure, he was talking about all of his successes, and he was talking about the Inflation Reduction Act and all of this. But his central theme was that people like who this guy was presumably supporting, the MAGA Republicans, that this is a grave existential threat to this country.
Extreme MAGA Republicans don't just threaten our personal rights and our economic security. They embrace political violence. Look, the reason, I'm not talking all Republicans, I'm talking about these extreme MAGA Republicans. Think about it. Think about it. The definition of democracy is you accept the will of the people when the votes are honestly counted. These guys don't do it.
Really? Really? They don't do it. I want to take you back to 2000. Vice President Al Gore, who had just lost the presidential election to George W. Bush, serving in his role as vice president, the ceremonial counting of the votes.
The chair now hands to the tellers the certificate of the electors for President
and Vice President of the state of Florida.
Mr. President, the objection is in writing, signed by a number of members of the House of Representatives, but not by a member of the Senate.
Mr. President, I stand for the purpose of objecting to the counting of the vote from the state of Florida as read.
I am objecting to the idea that votes in Florida were not counted.
Mr. President, I rise on behalf of the Congressional Black Caucus to object to the 25 electoral votes from Florida.
It is in writing. It is signed by myself on behalf of my diverse constituents and the millions of Americans who have been disenfranchised by Florida's inaccurate vote count.
You see, it was not just an objection. It was disenfranchisement that led to George W. Bush being selected by the Supreme Court, not elected. Now, wouldn't that be the very definition of not accepting the results of an election, saying the Supreme Court actually handed the wrong candidate? Did you know Joe Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, was one of Al Gore's top campaign officials? I believe he was the lead attorney. And he has said in the past, he still believes, had that vote count just gone on in perpetuity, that Al Gore would have been the winner of the 2000 presidential election. Well, every time they recounted the vote, Bush won by a greater margin than he had in the previous count. The recounts weren't doing anything, but Democrats wanted to keep them going, wanted to somehow try to find the several thousand votes they needed to take Florida, and they refused to accept the certification of the election. They objected to it. When Bush won re-election in 2004, they again rose to object to the results.
The objection today is raised because there are irregularities across this country with regard to voting. And we as a Congress have an obligation to step up to the plate and correct them.
I dedicate my objection to Ohio's electoral votes to Mr. Michael Moore, the producer of the documentary 9/11.
We are here because not a single election official has given us any explanation for the massive and widespread irregularity in the state. No explanation for the machines in Mahoning County that recorded carry votes for Bush.
Our people are dying all over the world. A lot from my state. For what reason? To bring democracy to the far corners of the world. Let's fix it here, and let's do it first thing out.
Now, that sounds to me like Dianne Feinstein was questioning democracy, doesn't it? Let's bring democracy here. You heard Maxine Waters, of course, rising to object to the miscounting of voting machines. Now, had those been Dominion voting machines, this would have been the stuff of the paranoid fever swamps of the far-right MAGA extremists who are seeking to undermine democracy. That was 2004. So for both George W. Bush elections, elected Democrats, congressional Democrats, couldn't accept the results of the election. How about 2016? Oh, you'd better believe there was an attempt to stop the counting of the electoral votes.
I wish to ask, is there one United States Senator who will join me in this letter
There is
of
no
objection?
debate. There is no debate. The gentlewoman will suspend. The chair has previously ruled a signature from a senator is required. Objection cannot be received.
They never got a signature from a senator, but again, Maxine Waters rose to object to the counting and certification of the electoral votes because of all the Russia collusion that we found out a couple of years later never actually happened. Yet Biden, who presided over Democrats objecting during a joint session of Congress to the counting of the electoral votes, says only Republicans, MAGA Republicans, refusing to accept the results of elections. You've got a woman running for governor of Georgia right now, Stacey Abrams, who still doesn't truly believe that she lost her first run back in 2018. Democrats objecting to and refusing to accept the results of elections has been a hallmark, to the point that every single time a Republican has won the election to the presidency this century, they have risen to formally object based on a phantom Supreme Court conspiracy in 2000, voting machines changing carry votes to Bush in 2004, and Russians behind every voting booth in 2016. The idea that it's Republicans who have an issue with accepting the will of the people is, frankly, patently absurd.
The Dan O'Donnell Show.
We'll be right back.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Did you know if you've got a business with 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of $26,000 per employee? It's true, and it's not a loan. There's no payback. It's a refund of your taxes. But the big challenge is getting your hands on it. Go to getrefunds.com. Their tax attorneys will help you cut through the red tape and get your business the refund money. They're specialists in this little-known payroll tax refund program, and they do all the work. There's no charge up front. They simply share a percentage of the cash that they get for you, and all types of businesses are eligible and can qualify. If you took PPP, nonprofits, even if you had an increase in sales, you could be eligible. Just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited amount of time, so don't miss out. Go to getrefunds.com. No risk, high reward, getrefunds.com.
Common sense, a rare commodity in 21st century America. If you're on a quest for insightful commentary, enterprise reporting, and a dose of material that's just plain cool, make a daily stop at Common Sense Central at newstalk1130.com. Dan O'Donnell digs up the stories that you simply won't find anywhere else.
Common Sense Central is presented by Positive Energy, an effort by American Transmission Company to match charitable organizations with the volunteer power needed to carry out their mission. Learn more at newstalk1130.com/positive energy.
Imagine for a moment that this ad was bought autonomously. Welcome to the new open web, where Viant is combining AI and human insight to create autonomous media buying that accelerates your return on ad spend. And using Viant's DSP Adelphic, you can now measure your media offline and online to see the full impact of your media spend, so you can spend more time on podcasts. Viant, built for the new open web. Built for now. Visit ViantNow.com to learn more.
Spend your weekend with the crew when the Brewers host the Reds for 3 exciting games starting Friday, September 9th.
Willie has joined the party.
Don't miss the season's best giveaway on Sunday the 11th, a truly one-of-a-kind Brewers Giannis bobblehead for the first 35,000 ticketed fans, courtesy of 620 WTMJ. Plus, save 50% on tickets for the season's last 5 County Friday. Get your seats at brewers.com/promotions.
The Difference, a new and informative podcast series presented by Annex Wealth Management. Conversation and informed opinion with WISN's Dan O'Donnell and Dave Spano of Annex Wealth Management. The Difference, available on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you find your favorite podcast.
Repairing sunken or uneven concrete can be easy, clean, and half the price of replacing your concrete. Contact Raise Right to fix your trip hazards, driveway, sidewalk, pool deck, and more. Concrete lifting holes are small and nearly invisible. Go to WeRaiseConcrete.com. Raise Right, the #1 concrete lifting, foundation repair, and waterproofing team for Wisconsin homeowners. WeRaiseConcrete.com. That's WeRaiseConcrete.com.
Whether it's a complete kitchen or bath remodeling or replacement fixtures, the experts at S&K Remodeling can help you. Their designers have their fingers on the pulse of your dreams. Stop by the S&K working showroom and let the remodeling team show you ideas from ordinary to extraordinary. Call 262-782-7185 or visit SNKRemodeling.com.
When it comes to remodeling, one call does it all. S&K Remodeling.
It is Milwaukee's oldest home, and I'm proud to say that the owner chose us to replace its windows. It's a beautiful home in Shorewood. It's not big or flashy, but it is just gorgeous. And I'm so proud of the windows that we helped the owner choose for this home. As they sat in our warehouse before the install, I kept walking by and looking at them, saying to myself, we really chose the perfect windows. And I couldn't wait to see the results, which even exceeded my expectations. The windows we chose were from the Marvin Signature Collection, which offers their broadest range of product types, sizes, configurations, and design options. When we choose them for your home, you'll experience the difference in every thoughtful detail with the highest level of architectural precision and beautiful aesthetics. Marvin Windows are built around you. This is David Wilhelm. If you want to see Marvin's entire product line, come to Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. After all, we are your clear choice for more.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
I'm Jim Sickles at Milwaukee Fence Finders. A beautiful Milwaukee Fence Finders privacy fence can't make a trash-hoarding goofball clean up their yard or stop wanting to see what your family is doing in the pool or hot tub, or keep their dog on a leash, or rake their leaves, or blow snow on their own yard. And chain link fences won't stop them from thinking if they cut your grass, they own a piece of your property. A fence around the perimeter of your business slot won't stop thieves from wanting to steal your tools or materials. No. Good fences don't make good neighbors. They block lousy ones. Fence Finder fences do make clear who gets to step in or clean up their pooch's poop. Block the view, clarify ownership, and make it a lot harder for creeps and criminals to exploit your property. Don't wait to enjoy neighbors enjoying their property. Milwaukee Fence Finders installs fences spring, summer, fall, and all winter. We'll help you enjoy neighbors enjoying their property. MilwaukeeFenceFinders.com. That's MilwaukeeFenceFinders.com.
Hand-built, ready to move into models are now available.
Diamond Homes.
Conservative thought. Not just talk. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Welcome back to it. President Biden says that, you know what? Things are going great in Milwaukee. The streets are safer because we fixed the street lights.
And here in Wisconsin, your governor and your mayor of Milwaukee use that money like it's supposed to be used. Keeping city workers on the job in the face of rising costs, keeping streets safe by fixing street lights, training 130 new firefighters, helping hire close to 200 more police officers.
Wait a second. Street lights? What's one of the most well-lit areas of downtown Milwaukee? Water Street, right? Where was yet another shootout on Friday night? Milwaukee police tracked down Ernest Blackney, who was the child sexual assault convict, who was inexplicably let out instead of being immediately remanded to custody. He then killed his girlfriend, estranged girlfriend, tried to burn down her house in order to cover up his crime, and then took off. Police finally caught up with him, and he opened fire on them. Police returned fire and killed him in front of terrified people on Friday night. An incredibly dangerous situation under the streetlights on Water Street. There's no doubt that there is a major problem with crime in Milwaukee, that its streets simply are not safe, whether it's a massive increase in homicides or reckless driving. In this case, we had both. Blackney was leading police on an incredibly high-speed chase. And what we've seen over the last, 9-10 years since the MPD no pursuit policy went into effect was a reckless driving crisis, a car theft crisis that has now made Milwaukee the auto theft capital of the United States. That has nothing to do with streetlights. Just as inflation isn't solely because of the rising cost of cars.
By the way, the reason why last year inflation was so high, you know the biggest reason? Cost of automobiles. You know why they cost so much? They didn't have the computer chips to make the automobiles.
Really? He's sort of right in that there was a supply chain crunch that was causing a big problem with getting automobiles, but that wasn't by far. It was not even close to the major reason for inflation. Do you know what the single biggest chunk of the inflationary puzzle is? Energy costs. Energy costs, especially gas costs. And, oh, by the way, brand new reporting from the Wall Street Journal finds that the Biden administration has leased fewer acres for oil and gas drilling offshore and on federal land than any other administration in its early stages, dating back to the end of World War 2, no other president since Richard Nixon leased out fewer than 4.4 million acres at this stage in his first term. Biden's Interior Department leased 126,000 acres. Harry Truman was the last president to lease out fewer acres at 65,000. That was when offshore drilling was just beginning and the federal government didn't yet control the deep water leases that have made up the largest part of the federal oil and gas program in modern times. That from the Wall Street Journal. In other words, the biggest piece of the inflationary puzzle was something that President Biden had complete and total control over. Lest I remind you that the United States was energy independent, was a net exporter of energy, of oil, under President Trump for the first time in decades. It took a grand total of 3 months, 4 months, for President Biden's refusal to keep up with the increase in demand as America went back to work, as the United States economy ramped back up. He refused to lease federal land. He refused to open up areas for leasing. No real surprises here. This open hostility, combined with the increased demand, drove energy prices through the roof. Biden also inexplicably said that in his Inflation Reduction Act and the prescription drug controls, that somehow he scored a big win over Big Pharma.
We beat Pharma this year. We beat Pharma this year, and it mattered. We're going to change people's lives. We finally beat Pharma.
Didn't the Biden administration mandate a big pharma product in the COVID-19 vaccine? Haven't we been complaining about record profits for big pharma? Someone should tell Pfizer and Moderna that they've been beaten. And yeah, folks, never forget that it was almost exactly a year ago. It was a couple of days after Labor Day, as President Biden appeared at Labor Fest in Milwaukee to talk about how he's standing up with the working man and the working woman and all of this, that it was Biden who forced countless thousands, tens of thousands of people from their jobs through the vaccine mandates. How many people had to leave good-paying, family-supporting jobs because they didn't, for whatever reason, want to or could get vaccinated? And why did Biden do this? Was their medical necessity? No. He needed to turn the page from the disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan. Remember, he even telegraphed it. He was saying, his aides were saying, after Labor Day weekend, we're going to shift the focus. We're going to change the focus away from Afghanistan. And they did. They had to act big. They had to act bold. They instituted the vaccine mandate. As a result, hospital workers, it wasn't until the Supreme Court intervened and said the Biden administration could not do this. This was an unlawful action by the Biden administration. It didn't matter. Hospital workers, people in areas of the economy that have nothing to do with caring for sick people or where you would theoretically need to have a vaccine. But larger employees, the arbitrary number of businesses with 100 or more employees, have to have vaccine mandates. That's what this president did. We're going to step aside for a break. Have no fear, the Dan O'Donnell Show will be back after this.
Dan O'Donnell will be right back.
Wayne Larrabee and wife Julie love Palla's wide range of beautiful wood designs.
You match the craftsmanship of the woodwork around those windows to a T. That's a talented group of people doing that.
We like our wood tones, and so the ability to have wood tones some places and the white windows others allowed us to have exactly what we wanted.
Right now at Palla Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, put no money down, no payment, and no interest for up to 24 months. Visit PallaWI.com.
Expires 9/30/2022. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
The 2022 Southeast Wisconsin Heart and Stroke Walk 5K Run takes place at the lakefront on Saturday, September 24th. Freighter Hospital President Eric Conley is chairman of this fundraiser, which benefits the American Heart Association and the work it does combating heart disease and stroke. You can get involved. It's really easy. Register solo, or you can register a team at newstalk1130.com. It's the 2022 Southeast Wisconsin Heart and Stroke Walk 5K Run, September 24th, Veterans Park.
Hey there, Dan O'Donnell for my great friends at Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Built Right's Labor Day sale is held over. Shop where the O'Donnell family shops, 4 generations, 94 years strong. Now more than ever, it's the time to support Built Right Furniture, a locally and family-owned business since 1928. A holiday guarantee for you with an over 45,000 square foot showroom. You'll find thousands of items in stock or order select quick ship styles for guaranteed delivery by the holidays. Over 64 dining sets plus 35 Amish-made sets in stock. Over 50 styles of power lift recliners in stock. Over 30 styles of sleepers, sofas, and love seats, full and queen sizes in stock, and much, much more. Built Right always saves you money. Shop Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for personalized shopping. Call to book an appointment Sunday. Built Right is closed to be with family. So make sure to tell them Dan O'Donnell sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
Hey folks, Jay Trudell from Kitchen Creators. The interest rates, gas, inflation has the economy looking like leaping lizards. But there's good news. Kitchen Creators still has great prices and free delivery on our cabinetry. Our Legend line is even available in less than 6 weeks. Mid-Continent is offering free paint on both their Signature and Pivot lines. Omega is additional 10% off for a limited time. At Kitchen Creators, we're solving the Brandon issues. You dream it, we'll create it. American made. See us at kitchencreators.com.
Hey, Arvid, why is Nicole sitting here in a trance?
She's in a state of tranquility, Ben. It happens when you melt into the fluffy, overstuffed cushions on the new Cloud9 sofa at Penny Mustard.
Really? I don't believe it. Let me see for myself.
Told ya. De-stress on the new Cloud9 sofa, starting at just $60 a month with only 1 penny down and no interest till September of 2026. Through September 11th at Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
The past few years have been hard on communities and the people who live in them. At American Transmission Company, we believe it's important that we all come together to support those in our community who need help. It's an effort we call Positive Energy. We're also counting on generous people like you to provide a little positive energy of your own. That's why, along with this radio station, ATC has created a list of charitable organizations that need people power to carry out their missions. Visit atcllc.com/positive energy to see where and how you can participate in volunteer opportunities to make a difference in your community. Let's all be the power that brightens our communities with some positive energy.
The Labor Day event from Dell Technologies is here. End the summer strong by starting up a new season of productivity. Your business upgrade begins with up to 48% off top-rated laptops, like Vostro, taking performance to the next level with 12th Gen Intel Core processors. It's time to push your growing business even further. What's next for you? Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Help the Tunnel to Towers Foundation do good and never forget the sacrifices of America's heroes. Heroes like Misora's Familia, who couldn't wait to join the NYPD to protect her community. She proudly wore her uniform, but was ambushed and shot in the head in the line of duty, solely for the uniform she wore. She is survived by 3 children who received a mortgage-free home from Tunnel to Towers. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Welcome back, Dan O'Donnell Show. It's classical conservatism and contemporary style. This is just too funny to me. Democrats are now accepting and blasting Republican governors over the border crisis. They're calling it a humanitarian crisis because Texas's Governor Greg Abbott has taken to allowing, well, he's not allowing, the federal government is allowing illegal immigrants across the border, and he's putting them on buses and shipping them to liberal cities. New York and Washington, D.C.'s mayors, Eric Adams and Muriel Bowser, respectively, have already said, this can't happen. We just don't have the infrastructure to take care of these people. Excuse me? New York City has 8 million people. It's the largest city in the United States. Washington, D.C. is, I believe, one of the 10 or 15 largest cities in America. You're telling me that they can't handle... How do you think cities like El Paso are dealing with this? How do you think the tiny border communities are dealing with this? Well, now Abbott has started shipping illegals to Chicago, and Lori Lightfoot is not happy.
Well, I don't think this is what we stand for. I think it's decidedly unpatriotic and un-American. I understand the pressures that the people of Texas and some of the other border states are under. We see that on a daily basis. But the thing to do is not this. This is creating a human crisis and treating people without dignity, without respect.
Oh, really? So maybe we should enforce our borders so that people aren't treated this way. Huh? All right, if you needed more motivation to go out to the polls and to vote to get Nancy Pelosi's speaker's gavel away from her, how about this? A report from FoxNews.com citing multiple sources says that if Pelosi's Democrats are defeated this November, she is going to retire as House Speaker. She is going to resign her House seat, and she is going to accept a retirement gig from President Biden as ambassador to Italy. Multiple sources familiar with this are telling Fox News digital team that Pelosi has been angling Biden and that Biden has very pointedly kept open the ambassadorship to Italy for Nancy Pelosi. Need any extra motivation to get out there and re-elect Brian Stile, to elect Derek Van Orden if you're in western Wisconsin, re-elect Tom Tiffany, re-elect Scott Fitzgerald, re-elect Glenn Grothman, to win the necessary seats to get Republicans into a majority. And oh, by the way, brand new projection from Nate Silver's 538. Democrats now have a 68% chance of winning the Senate. Do you know why? According to 538, Democrats, according to the site, currently have the lead in the race for the Senate. This is in part because in a few key races, Republicans have selected weak candidates, hurting their chances of taking the chamber in November. This, again, is the narrative that's being presented. Not only are there all sorts of ultra-MAGA threats to the American Republic who are running as Republicans for various races, but in the Senate, especially in Georgia, in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, and in Arizona, the candidates that, coincidentally enough, Donald Trump endorsed in each of these races won. Now, there's no mention of the fact that in Wisconsin, Democrats nominated easily the most radical candidate out of any of the 5 who were serious contenders for the Senate nomination. Mandela Barnes believes in defunding the police. He wants to abolish ICE. He holds pretty much every radical left-wing belief imaginable. There's no talk about him being too extreme. No. We're talking about J.D. Vance in Ohio, Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania, Herschel Walker in Georgia, and Blake Masters in Arizona. Do you know where President Biden went yesterday after his speech in Milwaukee at Labor Fest? He went right back to Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh in particular. That's very good, Dave. You're right. He was in Philadelphia, twice last week. There was a big rally, and then, of course, his Dark Brandon speech, in which he first called pretty much every Republican a threat to the republic itself. Why do you think there's so much focus on that race? Because it's obviously close, right? All of the polling shows that the Democrat, John Fetterman, is leading Mehmet Oz by 8-10 points. Only a Republican poll, the Trafalgar Group, Robert Kahali's outfit, shows this race even within striking distance at 4 points. That's still a little bit outside the poll's margin of error. Democrats clearly believe that Biden's presence in Pennsylvania, good old Scranton Joe, is helping quite a bit. Why else is he in Pennsylvania? It's close to D.C., that's right. But why specifically in this race? Because Fetterman can't campaign himself. Fetterman, of course, suffered a stroke shortly before the primary, and to say he hasn't been fully back to normal would be an understatement. So Biden is essentially operating as the surrogate for John Fetterman. If they really thought that this race was essentially in the bag, if they really believed the public polling that 538 is relying on for its Senate projections, Biden wouldn't be there so constantly. He wouldn't be shilling for Fetterman. He wouldn't be the Fetterman stand-in for the better part of 2 weeks now. Yeah, Dave says, think about that. Biden being the better choice to speak in public than a candidate. You know you're hurting when that's the case. The point is that the polls are going to tighten up. We're going to move back to a 50% chance of winning the Senate, Republicans and Democrats. And now that it's past Labor Day, you're going to see this happen in very short order. Dan O'Donnell Show done for the day. Talk to you again tomorrow.